we're going to look at a couple takes from Turning Point USA, aka Toilet Paper USA.
Babies is a lying dog face pony soldier.
We all know why CNN and the left want to focus on these distractions. It's because they have no winning issues to talk about. The left don't want an apology. They want public humiliation. They want to cancel me, but that's not going to happen. I will not be canceled.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, dude. They straight up do have better intros than the Democratic Party. This is corny and everybody gets mad and they say like, I don't know. The walkout music is like not that bad, actually. They know what the fuck they're doing. Like this is like entertainment and nothing else, right? And that's it. It just sounds like a comedy special intro.
About Ted Cruz lately in the news. And contrary to popular belief, I have never been an escort for Senator Ted Cruz. But I will tell you tonight, it is the coolest thing I've ever heard about Ted Cruz.
What? Why would you admit that it's like even a popular belief? Also, why did she phrase it in a way where it sounds like she is an escort, just not for Ted Cruz? And she also said Ted Cruz hiring escorts is pretty cool, which is pro-sex work, and I'm here for that. But I don't know if the crowd would be.
Ted Cruz. But I will tell you tonight, it is the coolest thing I've ever heard about Ted Cruz. About Ted Cruz lately.
So I don't get it. Like, is she an escort? What the fuck? Why is she saying it's popular? I have so many questions. Okay, Aaron Rupar probably fucking documented everything from the Toilet Paper USA, including the Matt Gaetz proportion. So
abortion.
We saw some parts of it, but let's watch.
Though he has announced his upcoming retirement, though he's real rich, though he grifted off of our taxpayers and off of our government and off of lies for years.
Why is he calling out Donald Trump?
We will not take Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Oh.
And that's saying something, because O.J. Simpson lives in Florida. I think O.J. killed fewer people. I think that Dr. Fauci should get to go and retire where he can be around all of his work. And that's why I'm willing to personally sponsor a one-way ticket right to Wuhan, China.
Fucking got him, dude.
Have you watched these pro-abortion, pro-murder rallies? The people are just disgusting. Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb. These people are odious on the inside and out. They're like,
dude, this is a funny argument because like both sides have their uggos, you know what I mean? Matt Gaetz is not reading the room, but then again, it's like conservatives love fat shaming while simultaneously being fat. So it's just basically that, you know what I mean?
Like 5'2", 350 pounds, and they're like, give me my abortions or I'll get up and march. And
also, they're all unattractive to Matt Gaetz because they're not Nestor and they're not underage. So it doesn't even matter to him anyway. Matt Gaetz and Sverige have a lot of, a lot of things in common.
And protest. And I'm thinking, March, you look like you got ankles weaker than the legal reasoning behind Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, I said this yesterday as well, but yeah. His argument is you'll never give birth, so who cares, as a cis man. So that's also additionally weird. I mean, I agree, but also that argument literally puts you in a weird predicament as well.
A few of them need to get up and march. They need to get up and march for like an hour a day, swing those arms, get the blood pumping, maybe mix in a salad.
Okay, dude, he's got some good ass fucking takes, bro.
I would far rather go to war over the monarch butterfly than deciphering what guy in a tracksuit gets to run Crimea oceans away. The case for America's interest is far more clear with the butterfly. I speak to you directly, Hunter. I asked the FBI where...
Wait, did you ask them while they were investigating you? Bro, how are you going to make FBI jokes, brother? You literally have an ongoing investigation.
your laptop was, and it seems they've misplaced it. How weird. But it just turns out that I have a copy right here. I entered it in the congressional record. We have your texts. We have your emails. We have the payments from Burisma. We have your travel records. We even know the Chinese communists who own you. You and the big guy have never lived one day under real Republican oversight. So these...
Wait, that's so funny. Dude, Matt Gaetz demanding the FBI arrest Hunter Biden is so funny, dude. That's awesome. Sentencing for Gaetz' wingman delayed until August. The former tax collector pleaded guilty to 6 felony charges. It originally was just like basic shit, basic corruption charges, and then it like ballooned into fucking... He was the elected tax collector of Seminole County, Florida, Greenberg. And the feds thought that he had only committed 2 crimes, including stalking against a political opponent who was also a teacher. And that would have been, that's like basic Florida politics, right? But then the Justice Department unveiled a torrent of other potential crimes, not only involving Greenberg himself, but also implicating more prominent Florida Republicans, including employees of his office, a former Florida state representative turned lobbyist, aides to and fundraisers for Ron DeSantis, and young MAGA-loving Congressman Matt motherfucking Gaetz, who later became a leading congressional proponent of, the fucking MSNBC writing it in the most lib way possible. The big lie. The most serious of Greenberg's alleged crimes was alleged sex trafficking of an under 18-year-old girl. He was also accused of using surrendered driver's licenses, which he obtained through his office, to create fake IDs, which he used to facilitate his efforts to participate in commercial sex acts. By spring 2021, public reporting revealed Justice Department was also investigating whether Gaetz had a sexual relationship with the same underage girl, and whether Gaetz and Greenberg had overlapping and illegal sexual contacts with women recruited online for sex and who received cash payments and/or were paid to travel with Gaetz and others, including on a 2018 Bahamas trip. Gaetz' iPhone was seized by the authorities, and the DOJ's investigation grew to encompass whether Gaetz took gifts, including travel and paid escorts, in exchange for becoming a medical marijuana champion. Part of the reason why we know about this is because Matt Gaetz was so fucking stupid that he literally wrote in Venmo exactly what he was paying for. If you recall, last year when this information came out, Matt Gaetz did an impromptu appearance on the Tucker Carlson show and almost implicated Tucker Carlson as well, to which Tucker Carlson was like greatly frazzled and replied in the worst way possible. Here.
And I believe we are in an era of our politics now, Tucker, where people are smeared to try to take them out of the conversation. I'm not the only person on screen right now who's been falsely accused of a terrible sex act. You were accused of something that you did not do, and so you know what this feels like. You know the pain it can bring to your family, and you know how it just puts people on defense when you're accused of something so salacious and awful. But it did not happen. It is not true. And the fact that it is the basis of this attempt to extort my family tells a lot. And if the FBI and Department of Justice will release the tapes that they are in possession of, the American people will see what is really going on.
You just referred to a mentally ill viewer who accused me of a sex crime 20 years ago. Of course, it was not true. I'd never met the person. But I do agree with you that being accused falsely is one of the worst things that can happen.
He's like, bro, why'd you bring that shit up?
You do see it a lot. Let's go back to the investigation.
I said, we? You speak in French right now. Fuck you mean we, motherfucker? It doesn't end there. Then he continues. He continues to say, well, we went to dinner with this wonderful individual together. He's like, no.
You say that it was or is underway. There was an investigation. What is the basis of that investigation? What is the allegation? That's really not very clear from these news stories.
Yeah, again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play.
I love this, dude. This was so awesome.
Scheme. That she could face trouble.
Like, it's not even just Tucker, but his wife, too. He's just, like, literally adding them into the investigation.
And so I do believe that there are people at the Department of Justice who are trying to smear me, providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime. And I'm just troubled that the lack of any sort of legitimate investigation into me would then would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But I...
Dude, it's so good. He's like, if I go down, you're coming with me, motherfucker. Okay? Everybody's coming with me. I'm bringing this ship down, baby.
I would like to know who... So they're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about, the New York Times?
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false.
He's like, I did it with a 16-year-old.
As I read it in the New York Times, is that I've traveled with some 17-year-old in some relationship. That is false, and records will bear that out to be false.
How long has this investigation been going on? Do you know?
I don't know.
When were you first informed of it?
Bro, Tucker is frazzled, okay? All right, so that's great. Let's see what fucking Mike Lindell had to say.
In
Michael Pillow.
Politics and over, the last 10, 20, 30 years, no one cared. No one paid attention. No one was looking at what they were doing.
I certainly didn't. I was on crack.
Right.
So how can conservatives love Michael Lindell, who is also a former crack addict, but hate Hunter Biden, who is also a former crack addict? Wait, why did he fucking reveal that? What do you mean? He's like very famously, he wrote a book about it. Because Hunter is a lame fail son and Mike is a real dude. Yeah, Mike is a real ass dude. Like the only reason why I make fun of Mike Pillow is, what have I said about Michael Pillow? Famously, I said he's the only person who got worse after quitting crack. Like Mike Pillow, literally on the planet, is the first and last person who will ever be worse off crack than he was on crack. They're jealous of Hunter's fat hog and Mike isn't threatening to their masculine.
Right. Well, but
that's a good excuse. I can't really use that excuse myself, but
in politics.
I love that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, by the way, openly came out and basically said it once again.
That's not who the Republican Party should represent. We need to be the party of nationalism, and I'm a Christian, and I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists. And when Republicans learn to...
It's like one of those, I mean, she's just saying it. Like, what the fuck? She really out here just saying it.
To represent most of the people that vote for them, then we will be the party that continues to grow without having to chase down certain identities or chase down, certain segments of people. We just need to represent Americans, and most Americans, no matter how they vote, really care about the same things. And I want to see Republicans actually do their job.
Dude, that's great. Judeo-Christian, by the way. Yeah, no, she dropped. Did Marjorie Titan Green ever even say Judeo-Christian? I feel like she never did because she was always like, hog the fuck up, right? I mean, she literally said Jewish space lasers was the reason for the fucking California wildfires, you know? Remember when the Republican Party staged an intervention for her and they were like, you're too anti-Semitic you're too anti-Semitic openly, so you need to go to a Holocaust museum and then write a book report about why the Holocaust was bad. That was so awesome. Part of the reason why she's like this is because, as a Turkish chatter actually correctly pointed out, they smelled the blood in the water. You know, Roe v. Wade, shit's popping off. They don't have to have any sort of safeguards anymore. They don't have to restrict their fucking narrative. They don't have to restrict their rhetoric at all. This is slowly but surely how you boil the fucking frog, you know? The Republican war on teachers continues to escalate. You would not trust these people to babysit your children for 20 minutes.
You would not trust these people to babysit your children for 20 minutes. And why should we then let them educate millions of American students 6 hours a day, year?
But you want to arm them. Like, that makes no sense. You do not trust these people to babysit your children for 20 minutes, but you want to give them a gun.
Year after year after year. Whatever it takes, the conservative movement must liberate America's children from the captivity of these Marxist teachers.
Laura Ingraham popped off. She had some, dude, the highlights of TPUSA, the summits are so good. She decided to do a Kamala Harris impersonation.
I'm here in Tampa speaking to a conference of young conservatives in Tampa gathered at a meeting that some would call a conference.
Like, not bad. She's getting the energy right.
In Tampa.
I hate to admit it, but like, kind of not bad. It's actually not bad.
Telling a first grader that you may have been born a boy, but maybe you're really a girl, that is wrong. That is inappropriate. And we need to focus on teaching these kids to read and write and add and subtract.
Dude, he is doing Trump mannerisms.
Of the tassel just beginning to show. And we probably didn't even have the ear started at that point. Now we're at the point of pollination. And so you have little seeds fall from the tassel onto what we call the silk. This is a strand, each strand leading to what's going to make a single kernel on this entire ear. A week ago,
Chuck Grassley, dude. I love him. Laura Trump says that after contracting COVID, Joe Biden should thank Trump for developing the vaccines. That's true. Zero lies. OAN correspondent showing off her new Second Amendment shirt. Let freedom bang. Love that. Not everyone here looks entirely thrilled about being in this photo with Dr. Oz today. Woman at a Trump rally this weekend is asked why she supports him. He loves the American people. He loves America. He's taking care of everything that's been destroyed. He's the only person who could probably fix this. We love him. You heard the Nazi they didn't let into the fucking Nazi conference because they were too openly Nazi. So they had to do the Nazi stuff outside the Nazi conference.
You think you're masquerading?
Everything last left of the color 19 agenda is Jewish, and you know it. Yep, we're here, guys. Nothing not. Ron DeSantis is here. 96% of the media is owned by 6 Jewish corporations.
This is what their power is now.
Fuck out of here.
You know it.
Nobody wants you. Fucking get out of
Oh,
here.
you got free speech too. Conspiracy. Just like the Holocaust. You don't like free speech? You should be ashamed for not liking free speech.
You should be ashamed for not liking free speech. Like, literally, all they needed to do was not have the swastika and stuff, and then they would have let them in. You know what I mean?
Donald Trump, Jewish cock. Would you have a problem with that? What?
That's right. I will not come to your defense.
And if we're attacked by Russia, was for the Soviet Union, but Russia. And if we're attacked by Russia, we didn't pay, that you will not come to our defense. I said, that's right. I will not come to your defense.
Do not come.
I will not come.
Do not come.
Wait, that's inappropriate framing. Not to be that guy, but we said unless you pay more.
Next day, money came pouring in. They were all delinquent. They weren't paying. I did much better the second time than I did the first. Getting millions and millions more votes than we did in
Not to be that guy, but proceeds to be that guy. No, I am that guy.
2016, and likewise, getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now we may just have to do it again. We have to be smart. First, we have to defeat the climate crisis hoax. It's a hoax. It doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power to generate and move our factories. It doesn't have the power. And I predicted, because this gentleman has this beautiful sign, Trump was right. Let me tell you, I predicted Germany 3
He predicted
years
Germany.
ago. Remember, I save our country. Never go wrong. It took them about 10 years to get that right. Remember, they came up with all the different things. They used to say, you know, in the 1920s, they were worried about global freezing. They thought the world was going to freeze. Now it's global warming, but now it's climate change, because you can't miss with climate change. Anything can happen. It's raining like hell. Climate change. We got it this way. In a very sad
then he goes from climate change is a hoax to anti-trans shit.
state. It already is. Our country's never been in a position like this before. Happened all in a short period of time. Across the United States, we need to implement strict prohibitions on teaching inappropriate racial, sexual, and political material to America's children in any form. We will also keep men out of women's sports. Is that okay? Can you believe that?
Yeah, based. He's saying keep men out of women's sports. Sure, fine. But trans women are women. Fucking got him, dude. Boom.
Men out of women's sports. Think about it.
Owned.
Now, I've told the story a number of times.
Only it was that simple.
Swimmer with a man's body. You know, they say that. They describe it that way. They say, no.
No one describes it that way. Only fucking pieces of shit describe it that way.
He's on the swim team. He was given Women Athlete of the Year. So, you didn't hear, I guess.
You know what's wild about Leah Thomas? I was thinking about this before. Like, conservatives create the state of oppression that, like, trans athletes experience. So then it justifies them getting, like, literal fucking awards and shit. And then they cry about them getting awards. Like, if you weren't fucking bullying trans athletes across the board, like, and trying to kill them and make their lives, like, significantly fucking worse and all this shit nonstop, like, then, yeah, Leah Thomas probably would not have been, like, chosen as the best female athlete of the fucking year or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, in a weird way, like, you are justifying them overcoming oppression. Like, you are literally justifying them winning an award for overcoming oppression. You're just, like, adding on to the fucking struggle, you know?
The Collegiate Sports Society of the world gave him Female Athlete of the Year.
So you're saying she didn't deserve it? Bro, I don't fucking know what the qualifications are. But ultimately, that adds to someone being recognized. If there's an athlete that fucking overcomes cancer or some shit and then ends up competing successfully, they're going to win an award for overcoming oppression. If an athlete is blasted on every fucking media outlet nonstop and being harassed endlessly, that's an additional layer of oppression that they overcame. No way you compared being trans to having cancer. No, I didn't compare being trans to having cancer. I compared the oppression and the marginalization that trans athletes face to the oppression and marginalization, or rather the struggles that athletes face in other ways as well. One is human-made and could stop, but the Republicans refuse to stop it because they think it's like literally basically make it seem as though like their transphobia is natural phenomena, but it's still, once again, exactly it's a oppression that they're overcoming. Chat's gonna lose it on this one. Sigh. Oh no, dude. As soon as we talk about trans people, literally every motherfucker in here who's like, Hasan, I love you. I think you're really great. You did a great job on this debate and that debate or whatever. Turn into like the most uncharitable motherfuckers, dude. Every time. They can't hold themselves. It's wild.
He broke the records by numbers that no. A friend of mine recently said that I was the most persecuted person in the history of our country. Me, the most persecuted.
Yeah, that's true.
I never thought it that way. I never had time. I was always fighting.
That's so funny. First of all, what? He's never thought about it that way? He's definitely thought about it that way. Like many times. He has said it many times. Does he think we don't have access to all the things that he has said? I've heard him say it many times because I remember making jokes about it. Like Abe Lincoln literally got fucking shot. JFK got shot. And homie's like, I'm the most persecuted. No American president has been in a worse predicament than me.
These people that were trying to persecute me. I didn't have time to think about being persecuted because I was fighting persecution. When I thought about it, though, I sat back. He's a very smart guy, successful. Sat back, I said, you know, he may very well be right. Certainly there's been no politician or president treated like I've been treated. A friend of mine...
Okay, that's a good ass speech, dude. Oh, he brought up the
But the
Netherlands farmers protest.
Climate crisis hoax is even risking famine and starvation. As we speak, farmers in the Netherlands, of all places, are courageously opposing the climate tyranny of the Dutch government. Can you believe this?
The only tyranny is the top of the hour ad break, and the Dutch government 100% is an advocate for the top of the hour ad break.
Which wants to dramatically cut Dutch farm production despite growing food shortage. They're saying you can't farm your land. We're not going to give you fertilizer.
It doesn't work that way.
You have to get rid of the
Comrade
cattle.
Bay and
You
Har
know
Har,
why,
thank you for
right?
the 5 gifted subs.
You know why? I won't tell you because they'll say, I said something, isn't that terrible? They want to get rid of the cattle because what it does to the globe. Half of your cattle they want out. You'll be next. You'll be next.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the cattle, and they're going to say, your cattle. They want to get rid of the hogs, my big, beautiful hogs. They're coming after you, the hogs.